Hey guys, Dissler Magic here, and this is a little bit late, but, well, I've been busy selling cards. I know that seems kind of counterproductive to not calculate this before selling cards, but of course, as I mentioned many times in the past, us singles vendors and people with distributor accounts for Magic the Gathering, we have to order our orders before we know a single card in the set. Except for Ixalan. Somebody, probably from Star City Games, let's just admit it, that's likely. Not for sure, but it's likely. Somebody from that company or one like it leaked the entire foil, rare, and mythic sheet from Ixalan, so thanks guys. But for Hour of Devastation, everybody's wondering, what is the box EV? If you were to open it and sell basically every single card, what would it come out to be? Now this is shocking. Absolutely shocking, because this is today's prices as of, well, July 20th. And I'm using Card Kingdom's prices, because they're usually pretty on point. So let's start with the Mythics. The average Mythic is only $6.96. Not very good considering there's only 12 of them. Now you might look at a statistics page or another site that claims to give you the box EVs, and they say there's 14, and then they use that price. 2 of them are from the pre-release kits. You can't put them in the box EV if you can't get them from a box. Hopefully you guys know damn well what site I'm talking about, the one that everybody points to and says, oh, those are the right numbers, Desolator, your numbers are wrong. I did the math by hand on a spreadsheet. I'm looking at the results in front of my face right now. So they're wrong. They're the ones throwing in Mythics from the Planeswalker deck and adjusting the price accordingly. In fact, they're probably inflating it too high because they're basing it on a 184 card set. Or they're being incredibly stupid and basing it on a 199 card set, which includes the basic lands, which, yeah, you probably should not do. So the average rare is $1.64, which is not terrible, but not great. I mean, going down for the top couple, $8.50, $7, $6, $5.50, $5, $4, $3.53, $2.50, $2.52, and then it's all lower after that. That's not bad. I mean, it's not spectacular, but it's not bad. It beats the crap out of Amonkhet and, oh, I want to say like Kaladesh. What did they have? Like 1 good rare, maybe 2? The lands in 1 card, I think it was. Now, while there are 3 uncommons that are all worth $1.50, which is pretty impressive, there's the entire rest that are all 25 cents universally. So that means that the average is 31 cents. But since there are 3 in every pack, that does add 93 cents to a pack. Now keep in mind, a pack is only $3.99. If you buy it in a box, the average sale price of a box is usually like $1.10 at most LGSs. So yeah, not bad. In case you're really lazy, 110 divided by 36 is almost exactly $3 on the dot. It's like $3.06. So adding an entire dollar in just the uncommons is pretty good, and like I said, the average rare is $1.64. So then you take the mythics, which are printed at half prevalence, and the rare slot itself, that is actually worth $2.32. So you're already at a pretty good price. I mean, if you want to count no foils, no masterpieces, nothing, just mythics and rares, that's it. Just mythics and rares coming out of the box. What's 36 of those go for? It's $83.57. So we're not there yet, but like I said, you can pull some like foil uncommons that are worth a fortune. The average foil mythic, I just use the multiplier because this is pretty darn true, and it's really hard to put these prices in this way. Just 1.4x, 140%. Usually, like, the high-end ones are like a 2x, and the lower-end ones are barely like a 1.2x. So I just use 1.4x. So the average foil mythic is $9.74. The average foil rare is $2.30. That's not too bad. So the weighted average, you know, for the whole, rares are printed twice as often as mythics, assuming that carries over to the foil slot, which nobody really knows, but I think it does. From what I opened, I think the numbers match up. That would be $4.78. So you have to take that and ignore all the foil uncommons and all the foil commons, because that's just how I do it, because they're just so not worthwhile. I mean, you just get flooded by a bunch of, 32 cents or something, and you can't really sell those. I mean, if it's under like 50 cents, I tend to not even count it, except for the fact that I just counted all the uncommons that way. But I will do it differently right after this total is given. So it's about 25%-ish, 26, 27, something like that, depending upon the exact number of cards in the set, and there's technically 184. So that would be $1.40. So the foil slot, if it's rare mythic only, is worth $1.40. Oh, that's also weighted against anything else being 0. So then what do you get? Well, you get $4.66 a pack. Well, hello, multiply that by 36, you get $180.86. Totally realized I just forgot something. In one box, the value of you might get a masterpiece, I guess that's the best way to phrase it, is $13.14 per box. Now that number is based on a basically guess based on what's printed on the actual pack. If you look at it, it says, and I quote, I'm actually holding one in front of me. I'm looking at one escaped the garbage. It was still on my desk. Weird. Masterpiece series odds approximately 1 in 1,935 cards. So what the hell do they mean by cards? And that's the problem. But I have heard and noticed that they increase the odds of pulling one. So it ends up somewhere, depending upon how that's interpreted, between like 1 in every 3.15 boxes and 1 in every 3.5 boxes. So I think just to be pessimistic, I went 3.5. So, you know, the average masterpiece is 44.13, which is pretty damn good, actually. I mean, that's not bad. That's full-blown retail, not terribly realistic on your actual resale value, but they're not that far off. I mean, Blood Moon, that's allegedly 100. I sold mine for like 80 something, so it's not bad. It was the high 80s too. I think it was like 89 bucks. Oh, actually, it looks like I used the 3.15 number because they also stated the chance of getting a foil, and that's universally 1 in 4. So I divided by 16 instead of 15 or something like that, assuming that's what they meant by cards, and it's a long story. Anyway, you add $13.14 per box. So your grand total is $180.86. An EV of 180, the only time I've ever seen it was the day before BFZ came out. That was right around what BFZ was worth. I think with all masterpieces considered and everything, it was like 185 or something like that. So for Hour of Devastation to even come close to that is just bonkers insane. But the problem is it's like bomb or miss. So let's just choose $2. If a card is below, or I'll say $1.99, if it's below $1.99 on the price list, let's change it to 0 and then see what we get. This is where it's surprising because I thought we would drop below 100 in a hurry. It is still technically below the MSRP, but with just rows of zeros. I mean, literally the uncommon slot is now worth 0 on the spreadsheet because they're $1.50, $1.50, $1.50, then 25 cents across the board. So they all got zeroed out. Almost all the rares are now 0, and one of the mythics is now 0. Masterpieces, I mean, the lowest is 20, so yeah. Believe it or not, the remaining grand total EV under those conditions, which I would consider, sellable or buy listable cards, although you ain't gonna get 100% buy listing them, that's $128.45. So if you were to open a box that you paid even $125 for, and you ignored any card below $1.99, you would still come out a little tiny bit ahead, or somewhere around even, honestly. And of course, the big variance is whether or not you pull a masterpiece, because remove that and, well, you've got $115.31. So still above 100. And I know some local gaming stores, I've heard of them in all different areas, that sell them for like 100 or 105. Maybe not on day one, maybe later, depending upon how good the set is. So that is surprising me. Hour of Devastation looked pretty damn worthless, but as I was selling it, people were scooping it up. And here's the other thing that I have to say now that we're on the topic of, value and worth and EVs and sellability and money and investment and all that crap. I suspect that after the wonderful losses that we all had from Amonkhet, which was, let's just call it the worst set ever released price-wise. I think Homelands probably beat it at the time. I think on day one, its EV was like 105 or 110 or something. It was just miserably terrible. Aether Revolt was decent. It was okay. I think I might have made a 5-10% profit. MM3 made some money. Hello. But then, let's see. Kaladesh. Absolutely dreadful, miserably awful. And the funny thing is, that was half of the most pushed block I've ever seen in my life. So I guess they stuck the real crazy stuff in Aether Revolt. So the distrust level of Wizards is high because it's like, oh, this didn't sell very well and we only made a 10% profit. Oh, that's a shame. I hope Wizards designed something better. That's one thing, because guess what? You still made a profit. Holy crap, we lost 40% of our entire purchase volume, our purchase amount, and we did all the work and shipped all the cards. I hate Wizards. I hope they all drop dead. They just cost me almost my life savings. That's a different level of frustration. And yeah, that's where we all were. I don't care what size vendor you are or how cheap your like illegal child labor is for sorting your cards. Not insinuating anything here. Doesn't matter, you lost money on that set. There isn't a person on planet Earth that made an actual profit on that set. So it's not just, oh, I didn't make as much as I hoped. It's, I lost money. Now, if you ordered $300,000 worth of cards and then lost 10, 20, 30, 40% of that, that is a lot of freaking money. Like I said, I don't care what size your business is. That is a lot of damn money. And you're sitting there doing work. It's not like you're not doing work. You're still stuffing envelopes, shipping out cards. It's just they aren't worth a damn thing. I suppose you could argue that nobody's buying the cards because they're worthless. I mean, there's that. So I guess technically you're doing a little bit less work in the shipping and receiving department. Other than that, my God, did people get screwed by Amonkhet. So, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Just kidding. No, you're not. I'm cutting my order by 75%. Sincerely, everybody who sells singles. So I cut my usual order, which is usually between 3,000 and 5,000. I cut it down to just under 1,000, and I think everybody did the same. And that's responsible for the prices going absolutely nowhere from a quick drop perspective. Because I don't know if you noticed, but, you know, Solemnity, Fraying Sanity, all the hot cards, Hour of Devastation, they are selling completely out at vendors that are not exactly known for selling out of a card. Like, these are the people that opened like $1 million worth of cards on like day one and the day before. They do not run out of cards. That's not what they do. But I think everybody went so freaking conservative on this that I actually have to wonder, and I might actually phone this in tomorrow and find out the actual answer, but I feel like the distributors got screwed in this one. Now, with an EV of like $180, I mean, maybe people are reordering and continuing to open cards. But other than that, Wizards goes to the 6 major distributors and says, this is how much we're sending you. Not how much do you need, what are your pre-orders, what do the numbers look like, we'll send you that much. It's, here's how much we are sending you, have fun, I hope you can sell it. That is no joke what they do, according to my distributor. So if everybody ordered 50% less, and even that's like really generous, the distributor still went to Wizards and they're like, oh, we don't need this money. And they probably said, too bad, we're sending you this much. Have fun. So they're probably sitting on just mountains of Hour of Devastation. And so that whole, I guess you could say, artificial scarcity, like self-imposed scarcity by the singles vendors, that is what's driving the price just through the moon on this set. So if you're wondering what's behind the suspiciously high EV, that's what it is. And like I said, anybody a couple days later can go to their distributor and say, can I get 100 more cases of 6 booster boxes, 600 more boosters? We need to open more. We're sold out of singles, and they sold really quickly. Everybody will do that if they sold out, and then the distributors send the rest of what they have, and then it turns into like a normal release at the numbers that Wizards printed, which is what, you know, pretty much has to happen no matter what. So yeah, very, very interesting the way this worked out. I expect the prices to just tank within 2 weeks. I mean, the box EV is probably going to settle in at about 100 flat, I would say. It does depend how much Kaladesh mechanics get crushed at the Pro Tour versus how good the Amonkhet ones do. That'll have a factor because obviously the more powerful cards are actually from Hour. So that'll be a factor because if everybody runs out and gets a card that's currently $1 and it shoots up to 10, there goes the EV, you know. So that'll inflate it a little bit, especially if it happens to multiple cards. That said, I wouldn't really necessarily count on it. I mean, keep in mind there are 8 sets that are legal right now. The sheer numeric probability that a bunch of them will be from 1/8 of that pool, no matter what the 1/8 is, not very high. So yeah, the probability of Hour of Devastation going through the roof is pretty low. But then if you look at the cards, nothing really stands out as all that special either, so that's even lower odds. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. My advice would be sell everything you have of value and rebuy it later unless you really want to put it in your deck now. I would not really hold on to anything as some kind of I'm going to trade it with somebody 4 weeks from now type of thing. Like just hold it in my binder for the next X amount of, you know, months, a year, or whatever. No, I would ditch it right now, buy list it, trade it, whatever, and then if you really need it, rebuy it as soon as the prices crash, because I definitely see that coming. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. If you're going to tell me my math is wrong or my result is wrong, feel free to follow it up with why specifically, what method or what exact equation is wrong, because otherwise you're just talking out your ass. Trust me, every time, every EV video, somebody says I'm wrong and backs it up with nothing. So anyway, what do you guys think of this ridiculously high EV? Are you surprised by it? Are you trading cards like crazy and sending them to, buyers and all that, taking advantage of the situation? Or did you not know about it at all? I mean, honestly, I didn't think the EV would be that high until I just did it an hour ago. So definitely valuable information to have. And I'll see you guys next video.